Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube. Today is the day where your history literally changes for good. And look, I understand the heavy promise I'm making right now, but there is a reason. And the reason is, in the past years, the kind of videos I've released, they're good content, but mostly personal development stuff, a philosophical statement, concepts and frameworks that you can take some notes on and feel intelligent. However, they are not practical as to someone who wants to literally start today, as in what do I do next after, now that I've heard what you've just released, what do I go out and really and practically do? So that changes today. This video is for you if you have been pondering about making a career as a business person, as an entrepreneur. However, you haven't decided, you've been reminiscing about this good idea, but you've never tried something in that space. This is for you. Now, I understand the claim I'm making, and I'm ready to back it up because I've got some notes, I'm worked up. You better buckle up because it's about to go down. Now, let's take things step by step here. Yeah? Here is the first thing I want you to do. I want you to decide. I understand how long you've been thinking about this thing, and look, to be honest, being an entrepreneur is scary. You wake up today on the top of the mountain, the next day, bottom of the world. It is uncomfortable. It's not for everyone. It's not some fancy thing you do because you're tired of your work or your job, your 9 to 5. It's not something that you do because it feels good. You know what? Most people, they want to become millionaires and business people, not because of what it takes to become one, but because of what it affords them to do. And affording comes after doing. So the heavy work, the heavy lifting of doing is what most people do not do. And you know what else? Most people do not give up on their dreams. They just see what it costs and they decide it's expensive. You know what? The first thing, I don't want you to be either of those people I just mentioned. I want you to decide that you are going to do this thing no matter what. You know why? Because the heavy materials in this world are not iron or gold. They are unmade decisions. Yes. The fact that you haven't made that decision, and making a decision, by the way, it's not a matter of mentally agreeing. No. It's about the action that proves that you actually have made a decision. So it's the action that validates the decision, not the other way around. So it's the actions you are going to take literally after you watch the video that will ensure you that you have made that decision. So, and this is what Alex Hormozi usually says, like, you haven't learned if your behavior hasn't changed. What assures you of that the learning has happened is because you are doing things differently. So if you continue to do the same thing, the learning hasn't happened yet. And you know what? To most of you, it's not just the learning that happened, that has never happened. It's rather the speed at which you execute on what you have learned, which is what he literally defines as intelligence. So intelligence is the rate at which you now execute. So most people have been understanding things that you should have acted on, but you will never act maybe until today. So it's that duration of period that has taken you to act that defines the rate, the speed of learning. So I want you to really lock in. If you can, please put the distractions away. Give me some few minutes of your time and let's focus. Let's work this out together. Aren't you tired of always reminiscing about this fancy idea of starting a business someday or being an entrepreneur, but you've never done a thing about that? Let's change it. So lock in, take some notes, and let's do this together. Fundamentally, there are two ways to do business. One, you can either figure out what people want and find a way to make it, or you can find out what you can make and figure out a way to sell it. Those are two ways to do business. Yeah? So, and either way, either of the two you decide, you can be in business. You can look at what people are already wanting on the market and decide that you are going to supply it, or you can look in your own personal inventory and say, this is what I have, this is what I can make, this is what I can provide, and let me figure out a way to sell it on the market. So either of the two ways, you are in business already. What there is the practicalities of now promotion and getting people indoors, getting the eyeballs, converting the attention. It's those technicalities that comes into place, but fundamentally I want you to understand those two dynamics of how a business is created. Those are how we create economic value in the first place. Figure out what people want and find a way to make it, or figure out what you can make and find a way to sell it to those people. Okay, that's the first thing. Now, before we actually further to more steps that I want to take with you on, I want to break down the two most important myths that if I don't address, this whole content will be irrelevant. First, do not follow your passion. We have been sold a lie for so long that you have to follow your passion. Look, this statement, it assumes first that your passion will never change. And you and I, we both know they will change. If you look at your current passion, they're nowhere different to what your passions were 10 years ago. And chances are, they will be way different from what your passion or interest will be 10 years from now. So, following your passion is insane because they're always changing. You can't follow something that is not consistent. That's first thing. Okay? Second thing, and you know what? What else? Sometimes your passion is something that people don't value enough to pay for. So why do you follow something like that? Look, and you will often hear the stories coming into place about people who are passionate about things and they were successful. You know what? If you look retrospectively those stories, it is not the passion that came first. Let me prove you right on this idea. Look at the story of Steve Jobs. Most people will tell you he was passionate about technology. If you look at the story, he was never passionate about technology. The guy knew nothing about technology. It is his companion, Steve Wozniak, who was interested in that, space of technology. It is him, Wozniak, who put together the components of everything. Steve Jobs, what he was good at spotting opportunities, looking at things and knowing that these can be big things. It is Steve Jobs who sold Wozniak on the idea of putting together those components and selling them. Now, after the story have materialized into success, people look at that and say, Steve Jobs, he succeeded because he was passionate. If you look at it correctly, he was passionate because he succeeded. So, in other words, it is not the passion that made Steve Jobs successful. It is the success that made him passionate. You can never succeed at something and never be passionate about it. You want to have passion about something, go succeed at it. If it's working, I guarantee you will love it. So, first, do not follow your passion. Second, work hard and smart. This whole analogy of you have to work smart thing that has, over occupied our mental space it is insane. This advice of working smart, not hard, it only works when your competitors are down. And you know what? No one in this economy doesn't have access to digital smart assets like AI and everything. So the only thing you have, if you are then competing with everyone who is smart, is your ability to outwork them. Yeah? So in this economy, you need to work hard and smart. Let's establish that. Now, let's go back to business here. Here are the thing I want you to really think about and take care of. Number one, where do you even start? Yeah, we've established the first idea that you can look at what people want and figure out a way to make it, or look at what you can make and figure out a way to sell it to them. Let's now bring in, nail down the focus a little bit deeper. Where is the sweet spot? Where do you look for? What is that thing that you should look at as far as starting business is concerned? Here is where you look for. You look for things that you are good at, that already people are spending money on. That's the sweet spot. You are good at it. but you already have people who are spending money on that thing. That's where you should begin from. That's something you should start with. Now, I want you to take your time and think about that. What is it am I good at? It might be services, like I'm good at designing stuff. People tell me that. I'm good at clothing. I'm good at putting websites together. I am good at X, Y, Z. Establish that. But the filter you have to put on there is, are people already spending money on this thing? Which means, does this thing have a demand in the marketplace? If it doesn't have demand, why do you have to pursue that? It's endless, yeah? So after you've established what are you good at, but already people are spending money on that, because you don't have to now to convince them to spend money on that. You don't have to educate them on why they should, because if you are convincing people to do something, you're doing it the wrong way, definitely. People should be looking at something and they get it immediately, because it viscerally confirms what they need in their daily lives. Yeah? So now that you have understood what are you good at, that is already people that are already buying, establish that in your own. You can even write it down on your notebook. You can brainstorm a couple ideas. You can post the video and brainstorm that. After establish it, now I'm going to give you a step-by-step process on how you are going to materialize that into actual money. Now, I'm not going to go into the generalities that we all know, that you have to register your LLC, get your bank account, link it to a payment processor like Stripe, and those are fundamentals that you need to have in order to do business. You can do that. I'm not going to mention that in details. However, what I want to do is to give you a practical framework on how you are going to sell what you have already decided that you are good at and people are already buying and you're ready to offer to the market. Sounds good? Let's go. So fundamentally, there are only 4 ways in which you can let people know about your stuff. Because look, when we are talking about business, definitely awareness has to be the first thing you think of. You know what will guarantee that your business will fail? If nobody knows what you do, I guarantee you 100% you will fail. So the number one secret to fail in business, do not let people know what you do. The number one secret to succeed in business, let people know about you do. You know, one of the myths that I have deconstructed over time is people think that it is the best product on the market that wins. No, my friend. It is not the best product on the market that wins. It is the product that is the most known and most trusted that wins. How do you now get your product to become known and trusted? Come with me. That's what we're going to talk about. So there are fundamentally 4 ways you can let people know about your product. And there are these 4 ways. It's either you're doing warm outreach. Warm outreach, these are the people who already know you and you already know them. Okay, your acquaintances, your friends, your colleagues, you know each other. Okay, then there are cold people. These are people that you know, but they necessarily don't know you. Then you can do ads, which means you can pay Meta or whatever platform that you can use to promote to get your message out in the market. Or you can do organic content, shoot some content for TikTok, for IG, post them and let people discover you and interact with what it is that you offer. So those are fundamentally 4 ways in which you can get people to know about your stuff. Warm outreach, people that know you and you know them. Cold outreach, people you know but they don't know you. You can do ads, promote your advertisement, your campaigns, your messaging online. Or you can do content, organic content, to let people discover you. Okay, so that's how you get known. Now, trust comes from the consistency of the authority. People reward consistency. Is the person that shows up most often in your feed that you trust by the time you want to do business. You know what happens? This person that you always see on your feed, you've never talked to them, you've never DM'd them, you've never bought a thing from them, but they have the mental shelf in your brain. The moment you decide to buy, guess who will come first? Guess who you will think of first? The person who has been feeding you content. So they have been building a heavy amount of goodwill that they haven't capitalized on, But that's where advertisement pays off. It is the brand that comes to you during the purchasing decision that has your trust and your recognition. And that's what you do throughout these ways. So now, someone might be wondering, now, how do I construct that message if I'm to reach out to people? So there are 4 things you need to include in your message. Number 1, promise. What do you promise someone to get out of your service or your product? What do you offer? If I use your product, what is the outcome? Promise me something that you are going to deliver on via your product. That's the first thing. Establish that as clear as you can so that a person is crystal clear on what do they get when they buy what you sell. Number 2, pain. Address the pain. What have they tried in the past? Why it has not worked? Why they have been repeating the same cycles, and reiterate on that pain until you can articulate it in a way that tells them you really do understand them. You know why this is important? It is impossible to understand that pain and articulate it to the best of your eloquence and not be able to solve that pain. So it is the level that you understand the pain on that determines and reflects your expertise to solve that pain. If you do not understand my pain, I do not expect you to solve my pain. Okay? Number 3, a plan. How does this work? Give me the step-by-step process. How, now that I've understood what you deliver on, I understand it aligns with what I've been struggling with. What's the plan? What do we do from here? Okay. Number 4, proof. Give me, have you had testimonies about people who have used this in the past? What results have they seen? Let me interact with those proof and give me assurance that if it was worked for them, it can definitely work for me. Okay? Mentally, those are the 4 elements to construct your messaging right. You need to have the promise, the pain, the plan, and the proof. Now that you have those 4 elements in your messaging, let's go to the most important part of this game. Look, the message you have is not for everyone. Sales is much of an exclusive activity as it is an inclusive activity. You need to exclude people who are not part of the market you aim to serve. Now, how do you determine who you will serve and who you will not? There are filters you need to apply in order to have qualified leads or prospects that you can then talk to who can become potential customers. How do you qualify them? There are 4 elements you need to keep in mind in order to qualify every single person that you come across. Number 1, in order to qualify someone, they need to have the budget. They need to have the money to spend. That's the first thing. They need to have the authority, which is the ability to decide. Number 3, they need to have the need, which is the need for that thing right now. And number 4, the timing. This needs to be a priority. Yeah. So any single person who meets those 4 criteria is your potential customer. They have the budget, they have the authority, they have the need, and they have the priority to do that thing right now and then. So those 4 filters, they will determine who is or who can be your potential customer. Now, the problem becomes, now that you have your potential customers in place, how do you actually sell them? This is the best part of the video. If you haven't listened to anything else, this is the part where you need to lock in, because this is where we are going to make money. This is how we translate the goodwill into the bank numbers. So this is a framework we use in order to sell those people that we've qualified. And the framework is called CLOSER. CLOSER is an acronym. C stands for clarify their problem, which means every single person that DMs you or comment on your ad or call you via call, your first question should be, hey Mark, just curious, happy that you reached out. What is it that made you want to get in touch with me? What are you trying to get solved here? Okay. And Mark will go like, yo, I saw this ad you're running about losing weight, and yeah, I'm just shopping around and seeing options and see if it's something would be a good fit, and got you. That's the first thing. Clarify why they are on the call with you. Okay. Number 2 is L. You are going to label them with the very problem they just told you. Okay. So this is how it goes like. So Mark, as I understand, you are trying to lose weight. You have, so this is what you are trying to do. You are trying to lose weight. You are looking for a program to help you lose weight, and you are laboring them with the problem so that that will be your entire focus as you converse with them, trying to figure out the solution. Got it? Number 3 is O. O is overview their past pain. Now, this is where you are going to go through a therapy session with them, looking into things they've tried in the past that didn't work. And they might tell you, yo, I've tried gym subscription, I've tried pills, I've tried a personal coach, I've tried focus groups, whatever they have tried in the past. Let them tell them themselves. As they tell themselves, they are selling themselves, because the pain is the pitch, okay? The more they actually go through that pain, the more they understand the urgency, the prioritization, and the amount of like urgency that needs to be in the decision, because they have tried a lot of things. Now it's the time to lock in. They can't afford to not do this with you. Yeah. So the more they reiterate the pain, the more they sell themselves. That's where your work becomes easier. After all, we go to S. S is sell them a vacation. This is your moment to shine. This is where you are going to tell them, hey Mark, so as I understand, this is what the problem looks like now, and this is how it's going to look like after work together. This is what it looks like now. This is how it's going to look like after work together. This is what it looks like now, and this is how it's going to look like after we work together. So Mark will be picturing and imagining working with you. Emotionally, he will be sold, because everyone wants the solutions. You have to sell them that vacation, that dream, not the heavy work that goes into getting the results. You have to sell them that and transfer that amount of goodwill that is within you, so they can see the end picture of what this looks like if it works out for themselves. Okay? So after selling them a vacation, then E is explain away their concerns. Chances are they are going to have a lot of concerns, some objections like, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I need to think about it, and I need to talk to my wife. Something they need to fundamentally understand as a salesperson is that beneath every objection is an actual reason. Your work is to uncover that objection until you get to the actual reason as to why they're not taking action right now. Okay? If someone tells you, for instance, I don't have the money, what they are literally telling you is that I don't see enough value in your offer that equates to the amount of money you are charging for. If someone is telling you I don't have the time, they're telling you this is not a priority for me. If they are obese, it's like, I want to stay obese. That's their priority. Now you need to shift the priority and make it for them to look healthy. That's your work. If they're telling you I need to talk to my wife, that's the authority that they are passing on to someone else. You need to tell them that the wife they need to talk about has their interest at best in their heart. Like, does your wife need to stay? Does your wife needs you to stay out of shape, or would she be happy to see you in shape? So you don't need to talk to your wife. You need to decide that you need this for yourself. Okay? If it's let me think about it, it is literally I'm not convinced. This is a conviction and belief problem. You've not done enough work to ease my doubts around your offer or how you deliver or your mechanism, whatever that is. So every objection beneath it is the actual reason. You need to uncover it and unpeel it and give it as it is. They need to see it as it is so that they can make a decision at this. So after you explain away the concern and they decide to do business with you, it's time to reinforce their belief. Within 24 to 48 hours after someone transacts with you, this is your moment to make a good impression. This moment, it sets the pace for how you are going to work with that person for the rest of the period. And this is where you have to make them feel good about their decision, because probably when they get home, they'll feel like, yo, maybe I didn't take enough time to think about it. Maybe it's not going to work again. And you know what? If there is that doubt, they will not put in the work. If they don't put in the work, they will not see the results. And guess who they will blame? You. It's another solution that don't work, and probably your solution does work. It's them who didn't work. And why didn't they work? You did not reinforce their belief. So onboard them properly, give them a video welcoming, assign them people that will be working in, set expectations, do some work around and help them feel better, give them a good mood about the decision they've made, and let them, some good adrenaline kicks in so that you can work together properly for the rest of the time that you're going to be working with. So this is fundamentally their framework. If you have it, you're ready to kill it. Clarify why they are here, label them with a problem, overview their past pain, sell them a vacation, explain away their concern, and reinforce their belief. And ta-da-da, that's how you sell. Last but not least, I want to give you 4 elements that you need to abide by as far as you are doing business. We might explore them further in details in the upcoming videos, but let me throw them at you as a bonus. Number 1, you need to understand, how do I get more people interested, which is what we've talked about, the 4 things that you need to explore to get people interested in what you do. Number 2, how do I get these people to spend way more money than they would have otherwise have spent? So this is where customer share of wallet comes into place. You need to expand your product lines. You need to go across different verticals so that if someone would have spent $10, they can now be able to spend $50 or $100 or $200 with you, with a lot of different product lines. Number 3, how do I make them spend it faster? Urgency. You need to create some scarcity around it. You need to create some limited offers, some giveaways, some bonus, so to help people capitalize on that scarcity and urgency. Number 4, how do I get them to spend it again and again? This is where recurring models comes into play, subscription models and other membership community offers that gets people to continually spend money with you, so that the lifetime value of a customer can increasingly become longer. So 4 things to abide by. These are here, and here you're ready to rock and roll. So fundamentally, these are the 4 things you need to address as a business person. But for the purpose of this video, my aim was to get you to understand, how do you first come up with something to sell, which we've addressed, figure out what people want, and how you can sell that, or figure out what you can sell and figure out how people buy that. And we've also talked about looking at what you're good at and what people are already buying. So we've established that sweet spot of what you're going to sell. Then we've talked about the 4 ways in which you can get people to be interested in what you offer, where we said warm, cold, outreach, ads, and content. We've also talked about how you build your messaging around the promise, the pain, the plan, and also the word, the proof. We have also talked about how you qualify people with the budget, the authority, the need, and the timing. And then we've talked about how do you sell people using the closer framework. Now, as we end, this is where I'll probably pick up the next video, where I will expand on these 4 items I just talked about. Okay, where how do you get people to spend more money with you, the customer share of wallet, how do they spend it faster, and how do you make them spend it again and again, which is how you retain people. But my element was to get you to figure out what you can sell, how to get people interested, get a right message around it, qualify the people who are qualified to see that message, and get people on call and sell them and get money in your wallet. And I have to believe I've delivered on my promise. Let me know in the comments if I have delivered. Now, as we close, I will just tell you 2 things. Number 1, a business is an infinite game. The point of playing this game is not to win it, it is to stay in the game, as many of the games we play. The point of marriage is not to get married, it is to stay married. The point of being healthy is not to get healthy, it is to stay healthy. So is the point of being a business person. It's not to get in business, it is to stay in business. So you have to figure out a way to last yourself longer. And as I've said, most people want to be entrepreneurs because of what being an entrepreneur affords you to do, not because of what you have to do to become an entrepreneur. You know what? I want you to be different. I want you to be an anomaly. Decide that you are going to do what it takes to become an entrepreneur, because you know what? Succeeding is hard, but so is failure. So you gotta decide which of the 2. It's been a pleasure serving you. I'll see you definitely in the next content. Hope I have delivered on my promise. Let me know in the comments. Cheers.